9 handicap. Looking to work on a few items in the golf swing, most notably the early extension of the spine, which can potentially lead to some of those heel strikes and shanks out to the right. If not, the face can hang a little bit open and cause a high fade. So you've told me enough in just a few short sentences about how to try to diagnose this action here. So let's first go after the early extension and see how much movement there is. Marking the rear end through the spine, through the grip, jumping right to impact, and jumping being the operative word, where the legs extend, the hips thrust in towards the ball, and that really has your body standing straight up. The 3 lines can really be narrowed down to just this one line. When we look at your setup position with your hands and club, obviously on a toe bias, you're aware that you're hitting the heel, but when your impact has your hands reaching that much more closer to the ball, it's inevitable for that club head to be moving that way as well and getting a little too close to the heel. So heel strikes and shanks off to the right are either a path issue, hand path issue, or an open club face issue. The problem is you might have a couple of those compounding the problem. Those 2 issues meaning your hand path as well as an open face bias. So let's first just attack the hand path aspect of this. And actually to do this, we're going to do a slightly different comparison. We'll get the pro in here in a second, but a quick U versus U comparison. Now we've already watched the swing on the left at impact, strike a little close to the heel. Swing on the right, backing up impact, much more of a center face strike. Maybe that mat turned the club face over a little bit before you hit it, but that ball did start straight to left and turn more left on the way through. So this at least is a closer strike and a good example of, well, what changes between your swings depending on, well, what looks like the day. Same range, same spot, different outfit. So again, stop rambling, let's get to it. So back to the hand path variants. Let's just complete the entire path line through the shaft of the club and start moving the first swing first, the before swing might have you. So hands are traveling right along the path line. When the club works that far to the inside with your hands on plane, there does tend to be some pronation, supination of the forearms, opening the face. You get great turn and good depth of the arm behind you, so I think your body mechanics, excluding the extremities, are actually working fine. I can deal with an inside takeaway with decent enough mechanics to keep it fairly inside or limit the action over the top. The wrist bend is subtle but does tend to open up that club face a little far and further to the top, but as you drag back down, let's watch that hand path again. As the effort to shallow the club, essentially taking the club from the top and laying it back down to get inside the path, the action of shallowing the club does tend to get the club to appear like it's working from inside to out, but it also has your hand path steering away from your body or reaching further away, closer to the ball, closer to the heel. So that big stretch of the arms and hand path working away from your body is a major function. The early extension of the spine, I'm going to treat as a, let's see how we call this, more of a something that's going to get improved over time as you work on some other aspect of your swing, sort of a facade, something that you are going to indirectly work on. So we'll keep that line back up. We'll look at the more clean strike. Again, similar fashion on the takeaway, might be less of a rip to the inside. Path continues around your body, nice and flat to the top. Let's see where we're stopping at this position. So, interestingly enough, there's a looser hand position leading to more hinge, more opening of the face, but a better, softer looking drop shallowing the club, and your hands are now riding and getting much closer to that initial path line on the way down. Club is still inside, club face is still open, but as our first issue, the hand path, it's an interesting thing to consider that the extra length might give you more time to drop the hand path back down rather than trying to just shallow the club head itself. You might have to watch this again or follow up with any questions you might have, but the hand path drop comes from the trail elbow tightness to your body. Again, let's peek that through your transition here. Trail elbow remains somewhat tight as it works that left arm across your body, but instead of really fully reconnecting that trail elbow back to your body, sort of akin to what we're seeing with this first dropping move, the elbow drops down and the hands come down close. Your hands drop down, but the hands never really get back down to that yellow line and keep working away from the body. So back to the other side again, the function of the early extension is a function of the path. So you are less upright, jumping up early extended out of the spine, which will keep your hand path back in, and then you will hopefully only have one variable to work on, which is your club face. It's a whole nother can of worms that could almost have another video in and of itself, but let's just try to not confuse ourselves and keep things rather simple. So hand path, inside, early extension will be reduced. Now, once you do enough of those, hopefully you'll be feeling more of a center face strike. It could still spray anywhere because your club face control is not quite there, but work the hand path inside, look for solid contact, and then begin with this aspect that we're about to talk about, which is just monitoring your face throughout several positions in the backswing. I am very well known for preferring a 45-degree face angle at P2, position parallel to the ground, when that can roll quite a few degrees open with that forearm pronation, supination right off the rip in the backswing. So to control your club face, it's best to try to do it from P1 to P2, here to there, because once you begin opening it up this much at P2, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's already open and there's nothing to try to adjust at the top. You've already started opening it. We have to try to not do that right off the bat, like we said. So rotate the left knuckles down in a fashion to get your logo of the glove literally pointed down at the ball. It's going to feel super awkward and weird, but there's plenty of videos I've made about bending the left wrist to get yourself into a more square to closed face position. If you do that, you should see a flat, if not even a slightly bowed angle in the wrist, the opposite of the current angle that we're seeing with a cup. So cup opens up, a bow closes down. So it's more just information for you. I think that you can work on that independently, but again, your path, hand path specifically, is the first thing that I would do to try to keep you from hitting on the heels. Next time you're at this range, take this basket that you have, and it might be embarrassing for a few swings if you do clip it, but put it down uncomfortably close to the ball. See how there's almost no room between the toe and the basket? Put that basket right down there and do not hit it. Just by having that, you will work the path, still having the ability to come from the inside, but not reaching out and extending those arms far away to snap that plastic right in half. So something to consider there. Again, happy to follow up with some questions, but let's just finish off with your final tour comparison to see if any of the valid points that I've tried to make are shown with our tour example. Now, camera angle might not be the same, and you could even say that your posture looks more, I guess, standard or geometrical than a one Justin Rose at a comfortable setup position, a bit more relaxed and maybe able to keep the hips from early jumping by not having such an S curve with the back. But again, rambling on, let's get back to our point, which is the hand path. Let's see how Justin works his hand path. Most pros will begin with a more upright vertical backswing, leading to a higher position, but even with that, somewhat flatness of the wrist, somewhat good connection of the trail elbow to the body. We've seen it enough times, but seeing it again will have you more inside, more flat, but similarly connected with the trail elbow. Let's now watch as Justin transitions down, redrawing a crude path line here. And he's not going to get his hands back down to the path until, well, much closer to the ball. There is a camera angle that might throw this off, but some verticalization, not a word, of that shaft might be okay as the D plane gets a bit more upright from here, but really just looking for good, not great, or improvement closer to the line with your hands at impact. The further you reach out, the less chance you have. Maybe not the best example to pull, as he was hitting a fade there, cutting across, Didn't really prove the point I was hoping to make with that, but hopefully we've gone over this enough times to get the point. Be happy to again follow up with any questions via email. Good luck. Sendaswing.com.